Hello, I'm Ben Yard. I'm the Somerset Whittler, and we're back now for part 3 of carving, whittling Kratos God of War, Ghost of Sparta, and this is how far we've got. Carving from a slightly different area than I normally am, so the light might be a little bit different, and I may jig around a little bit. May even play around with that now. So this is the guy, this is where we've got to. So we're going to get into some details today. So we've got most of him down now. And then we're going to work on the finer details. So let's get ourselves a pencil. And let's start work on the beard. So, with our pencil, we're going to mark where we want that moustache to go. So that it's going to pin right in the middle of his nose. Because he's quite a dour sort of chap, we want that to be coming down, really. Down and across. Like so. Sorry, the light's quite strong in here. Is that a bit better? Down and trying to keep that equal. That'll be where we want his moustache to be coming down. And that beard. Trying to keep that Greek gaudy sort of look. So let's cut that in. Sun is shining outside after all the storms we've had. So it's nice and bright in the pub, which is where we are right now. And we want to go tip in there and come out. And then tip in there and come out. My boy is currently playing Call of Duty, so if you hear any gun shooting and war going off, that is what it is. Gamer. Don't understand it myself. Okay, so we're going to get a bit of an angle on this beard. Start shaping it a little bit because we left it quite blocky before. He's quite an old looking warrior. So we want to get that expression into here as well. We'll do that with this moustache style beard. So I'm going to get into quite a lot of the details on this one. Just separating that a little bit. And then right up into that mouth, we're just going to put a deepish V-style mark and just knock that out. Okay, so don't want to go too far. Okay, so that just gives him some depth on his mouth. Okay, and then I'm just going to round that down a little bit so that his bottom lip doesn't protrude higher than his moustache, because that would look rather weird. Look a bit sulky, I think, but did that. Okay, and then we're just going to put a little cut down there, and we're just going to cut up to that, like so. Going to curve it a touch as I go to the side, like so. And that is his lower lip, and then we'll just sort of scroll up into that. I'll keep that moustache slightly separated from the beard, just to give him that sort of oldie worldy sort of look. Less like a Santa and more like a Viking, I suppose, a dwarf, warrior. Just make sure I'm not removing that lower lip. Okay, and although it's still a small piece, we want to get a bit of detail in it, don't we? So we want to see how that weighs. So we want to get some lines in here along this beard, just to give it some definition. So just kind of drawing some lines to try and get a visual of where I might go with that. So I think what I might do is just start on this top piece and just cut in some little V's. I'll just break it away from I think it's such a straight look as the beard joins the face. Here as well. I'll just give it a bit of detail and just keep it. That will just and then over this side as well. Just to stop it from looking too blocky. That is my dog that's just walked in the pub where I got laminate flooring, so you're probably going to hear those paws all over the place. I'm going to turn him upside down. We're going to do a little bit of that this side as well. Break that beard up. As we've said on the other ones, we can do this with a V tool and it'd be that much quicker. There goes my doorbell now as well, it's all happening. But we are whittling this, we said, so we'll see how much we can do without involving that. So just down through here, we'll just draw a little line and then take a little chip out, like so. Draw a little line, take a little chip out, draw a little line, take a little chip out. Go a bit deeper on that one. Just giving that beard a little bit more about it. And we're going to want to do something similar with the moustache. So we might just draw a line on the moustache and just take a chunk out. We'll do it on the other side as well. Take a chunk out. Just to break it up a little bit. We can turn the piece and we can take very small slithers out the moustache just to break it up. These are very, very fine cuts. The paint will pick up on them, so you might not see them right at this moment. Very, very fine. But the paint will pick up on them, and we can get some shadowing in on the paint, which looks great if you were doing like a dwarf or something, and you'll get that character who's maybe has like a ginger beard, and then you can get the colour in to those creases with the browns and the oranges, and getting those different colours in will set it off quite nicely. So there's our older man with his beard. We could have made that a little bit more wavier with a V-tool or a gouge, but we are attempting to whittle Kratos. So let's keep where we are. Just separate that beard a little bit more. You can spend quite a bit of time over this beard trying to get like small separations. It would be worth it because it would really make it pop when you paint it. You can get some of these creases in here. You come at different angles to get some more depth in it. Get some different depths on the beard. Anyway, I think we've got the gist of that. So we're going to go up into the eyes now. So let me I just caught a little glimpse of one hanging up there. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do like a V cut up and across. Okay, up and across. Okay, and then we want that to be copied on the other side. Turn it upside down. Up and across. And at this stage we can just have a look at that and make sure that they are similar. So this isn't a complete V up and down, it's more like a leaning pyramid or a sideways kite, something along those lines. And then with our tip of our blade, we will go at the top and go down, and then back up the top and go down at that angle we've just drawn, like so. And then we will go in and we will remove a sliver from the inside on both. Okay, and then turning upside down, we will remove a sliver on the outside of both. That would just give it some separation. Just to separate that eye, we could take that from inside a little bit more, because we don't want him to have too wide eyes and look startled, because he's a warrior. We don't want him looking startled as such. Okay. Same on the other side. Down, and then turning him from this side and following that line down, like so. We will take a small slither from the inside. We will take a small sliver from this inside. And then we will do it from the outside. And you can shape this however you want now. If you wanted to, we could make that internal piece rounded. We could play around with it as we see fit. Okay. Could come up and just kind of play around with that eye a little bit. Come up from underneath. Okay. Do the same the other side. Come up from underneath a little bit. Just clean this one up a little bit. Okay, so we've got eyes in there now. And from above, we just want to do a couple of roll cuts just above that eye. That's just going to bring that brow out a little bit more. Give him that slightly more sort of sinister look, I guess. But we still want to keep that head very round. So we don't want to lose the shape of that head by what we've done there. So you just go back round and sharpen that up a little bit. Like so. Just come through the middle here as well. And then we're just going some lines across his frown lines. When I looked him up, he carried quite a few frown lines on his head. So we're just going to cut those lines in now. A few frown lines on him. And then, being slightly older, he was also having bags under his eyes. So we're going to go to the corner there, and we're going to take a cut right the way across. And then from the top, we're just going to cut that out. That piece we've just put in there. Very gentle with the tip of our knife. And that's just going to create a bag for us, so we can just go back over slightly. Like so. Hopefully you can just about see that. Then we go to the other side and we do the same. Just cutting in like a little bag to age him. Just roll the blade just underneath that cut then. So now we've got a couple of bags under the eyes as well. And the corner of the eyes, we can just do a couple of nicks to show his age. So some crow's feet, if you like, coming out the corner. And what's on that side, we'll want this side too. Okay, so kind of got Kratos' face in there. I believe he has a scar going down his right eye. I think there. So we'll see if we can get that in as well. I don't blame you if you left that off, because that is tricky. And then from above. So there's his scar on his head. Not sure how visual that will be after we finish. I think I got it. In the light. Sorry about the light in here. It's not ideal. Okay, so what I did do in the last, what I did since the last one is I did tidy up the back of his head a little bit, which doesn't look like it now, turning it around. And I put a couple of, using a little hand drill, I put a couple of holes down through his hands. I put this one straight down, because I thought what we could do is we could have a spear. This one, I came at a slight angle, because I thought if we have a sword or an axe, I don't want it sat in front of his face. So we'll have it at a slight angle, so it'll come out over here. So, just going back on the body now. So, this was his breastplate, which we discovered was like a leather breastplate. So what we can do here, I can just take that back a bit. Is on the breastplate we could have, if we had like lines that go nearly across, like so, like so. Like that. And with our knife, we can cut those lines in. And what we want is for the bottom one to go up into the top one. So this is going to have the effect, hopefully, of leather being stitched together. So go in there, and then the bottom one coming up into the top one. Like so. Okay. Okay. Change the position of those a little bit so they weren't so far apart. And then what we'll do is, coming off of them, we'll have like brickwork. So if that's a line there and that's a line there, then underneath will be in between. And then below will be there. Above will be there and there. This one above will be over here and over here. And this will just allow us, could be gentle with these cuts now. It will just give it that struggling with my words today. Breastplate, like the leather on a breastplate. So there, there. Of course, you could try this character with a bigger piece, maybe 1.25 inches or maybe 1.5 inches thickness, and it would be slightly easier on these smaller finicky bits. But the paint will sit that out a little bit. But that's his breastplate on that side. We've got his strap over here, so his strap's going to go. So we just need the strap to go slightly under the breastplate and round that off. Okay, and then we've got some more bits up here where we will have that effect. Still going. Like so. And then we're going to round off these sharp corners on his fists all the way around. Just round it off. So we're cleaning it up, and we want to still keep that clenched fist look. We don't want to go too tight on this because I've now got the hole in place. Okay, so that's one hand. I'll do the other. Just rounding it off. This hand, as I said, is sloped out slightly, so we want to take that in a little bit on that corner just to give it that slight impression that the hand's in a little bit. Like so. And this was going to be his belt here. So we can have a big belt buckle or whatever we might want to do there. And then that was into his trousers down here. Okay. Just tidying that up a little bit. So we'll probably, what could we do? So trying to visualize how he's going to be holding this staff, so we could have like his thumb coming from here, and then his fingers would wrap around here. Like so, I think. Something like that. I might get that top one to go in a little bit. So let's just try that. So very gentle cuts. We'll let the paint pick up the definition of this bit. Otherwise we'll end up losing the hand. So we'll just have this thumb on the top of the spear. Very fine cuts. Just pull this side down a little bit so we can see that's where that is. And we've got the fine cuts. Just gently cutting to define the fingers. This is going to be a bit tight. It's funny, isn't it? You do it first and you think, oh, that hand looks a bit big. And then you have to put the fingers in and it's like, maybe he'll be a 3-fingered warrior. But nope, we are going to get these in. Okay, so you can see the definition in his hand. I can play around with that thumb a little bit just to shape it a bit better as we go. It's quite a big thumb. Such a small piece. I'd just go careful with how much detail you get in there. Could end up losing the whole thing if I'm not careful. Could attempt to put nails on him, but I think that's just getting a little bit too much. When we could just paint them on, have the same effect. Oh. So this side's going to be pretty much the same, I think. Let's go with fingers only on the side, I think. Have the room for anything else. Let's go with that. So just again, fine cuts, very fine cuts. Don't want to go too deep and lose the whole hand. And if you do, oh well. Learn for next time. Slightly frustrating. Now we've got this far though. Let's just take our time. And hopefully we won't lose anything. Okay, so now we have got our Kratos' hands in. We've got his breastplate in. We've got his beard. Sorry about the lighting today. Like I said, not in our usual place. We've got his eyes in. And again, like we said before, you could shape them a little bit. If you wanted to go a little bit more smaller for a slightly darker look. try and keep them the same. We got his scar in, which is pretty cool. Got some bags under the eyes, very small bags under the eyes. We could work on his whiskers a little bit more. So here we could just start putting in some little notches on the beard, just to give it some more, give it a little bit more character, a little bit more movement. We can come in at different angles. Again, it's a small piece, so you have to settle on how much detail you want to get in it, because we can go to the ends here and we can cut these in again. And we can get some decent separation in here. This guy should be relatively good fun to paint, I would imagine. We are there and thereabouts with this guy. Just put a bit more shape in that nose. Get some good shape on that nose then. So we got his breastplate, we've done his hands. Beard and moustache. Again, we can put some more. Put some more lines in this moustache and work on it if we want to take. Working on a very small piece here, so you have to be really careful not to have got this far and then blow it really. Okay, so there he is. We got his trousers in. And again, I don't know how much detail you want to be going into the trouser piece. You could certainly use any techniques you've seen elsewhere. Break it up a little bit, slim him down. Maybe, I think that's probably enough for him, to be honest. This is a tight area here. We could try and put a belt in, which would look something along those lines. And then we'd have so we could try that. So we could go across and then up. Across and sliver piece out. Really small piece is really quite difficult with the smaller details. We're just going to attempt to get a belt buckle in there. Again, the paint will pick this up. So it doesn't have to be perfect. But we've kind of got a belt buckle in there now. We probably just need to clean that up from underneath. So that is effectively where we are with this little man. On the next one, I will be sat in a slightly better position. We will talk about what we will put in his hands, and we will give him some paint. Now, you could just put some muscle definitions in and around the shoulders by rolling your knife, just to give him that sort of, so you can actually see there's a shoulder muscle there. We kind of brought it in to show where the arm was last time. So we've got that. Could do the same on this one. Just sort of defining a bit of a shoulder muscle. Which we could shade in nicely with any type of paint if we wanted to get fancy with the paint. Okay. But that is where we are. I'm just trying to move the camera around now so that I can see what you can see. That is effectively where we are with our miniature Kratos. Miniature Kratos God of War. Excellent. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.